Hello students, good morning to all of you. Welcome to this virtual class. Last period we are discussing what do mean by globalization in the new economy policies. As well as we are discussing World Trade Organizations, that is WTO, and business process outsourcing. Above the new industrial policy 1991, which was announced on 23rd July. New industrial policy 1991 was announced in the year of 1991 on 23rd July. The objective of this policy was, before the 1991, what are the consolidated gains which was built up during the last 4 decades of economic planning, and to build up the gains already made, and to correct the distortions or the weakness that made or may have crept in the industrial structures last 4 decades. As well as, so far sustainable growth is concerned, sustainable growth in productivity and gainful employments and international competitiveness. There are some industries which you are gaining and which you are losing or that loss. So above all, in the bird's point of view, in the last 40 years or 4 decades, we concluded here to development of an economy. We started the new economy policies, which is we can increase our gross domestic products, national income, per capita income, economic growth, as well as economy infrastructure and social infrastructures with the need for the requirements, more and more employment opportunities, self-reliance, or all kinds of changes what was required for the speed up of our economy growth. So above all, if I will discuss what are the major changes in new industrial policies. First of all, policy changes. Industrial licensing policies. I am revising you. Industrial licensing policies you have already known. So far 1951 industrial policy is concerned that Schedule A and Schedule B, 17 industries and 12 industries, other industries were that controlled or guided by that state, which was given to the private sectors. So gradually these 29 industry changes, only that 6 industries group, I will not say that name, and lastly at present only the 3 industries groups where securities and strategic concerns predominates will be reserved exclusively for the public sectors, or remaining the industries except the threes all are given to the private sectors if that need may that chance might be that public sectors. So these three industries were the most important industries. So for the safety and security concerns, one is atomic energies, another is that department of different kinds of industries, energy sectors, and third one is that railways. These are the different three industries which we are exclusively reserved for that public sectors. Other industries are to be given to the private sectors. So the industrial license policy was liberalized. Besides this, as per the population is concerned, as per that area is concerned, like metropolitan cities within the 25 kilometer of the cities having population more than 1 million, there is no requirement of the industrial approval from the central government except the industrialists under these areas 25 kilometers and the 1 million populations. Industries of non-polluting natures such as electronics, computers, software, and printing can be located within 25 kilometers of the periphery of the cities with that more than 1 million populations. Other industries are permitted only if they are located in the designated industrial areas. So accordingly, the need of the countries requirements for the growth of an economies and to create that more employment opportunities, increasing that more and more productions, speed up that import and export policies to increasing that more and more exports. So entrepreneur will henceforth will require to file an information memorandum on new progress and substantial expansions. So there are the exemptions of the licensing systems which way more and more private sectors or private entrepreneurs they can come forward and participate in the progress of the nations or the development of a country by establishing that more and more industries. It may be large scale industries, it may be small scale industries. And time the small scale industries value also increase day by day. It depends on the situations, what types of industries and what is the country's requirements. Similarly, we can get that emphasis on that foreign investments, that is the foreign direct investment. Last period I was also discussing. It means automatic approval to FDI or foreign direct investments in almost all sectors except that few sensitive areas or few sensitive ones. Automatic approval is available for 50%. I was discussing, and some industries 51%, and some industries 74%, and certain cases also there was the 100% in special field of industry groups. Time what changes. Less than 50% available for 50%, more than 51%, and also 70%, and also 100%. How much it changes? 50%, 51%, 74%, and 100%. How much it changes time to times as per that special industry groups, 100% in that special industry groups, and to provide access to international markets. Major foreign equity holding up to 51% equity will be allowed for trading companies primarily engaged in the export activities. Similarly, the Foreign Investment Promotion Board FIPB, Foreign Investment Promotion Board. That Foreign Investment Promotion Board has been constituted to negotiate with a number of large international firms and approve direct foreign investment in selected areas. It means the board was constituted, that is the Foreign Investment Promotion Board, to negotiate with the large number of foreign companies or foreign industries or different kinds of international firms, which way they can approve directly by this board to establish the different types of industries. Similarly, we have made also different agreement, that is the foreign technology agreements, FTA, foreign technology agreements. It means the automatic permission will be given for foreign technology agreements in identify high priority industries up to lump sum payment of $2 million, 5% royalty for domestic sales, 8% for exports, subject to total payment of 80% sales over the 10 years periods from date of agreement or 7 years from commencement of the productions. These are the different kinds of agreements for that foreign industries. Those industries will come forward to establish their industry in our own country. These were the agreements. It means if it is the export purposes, if it will start from the industry, how long it will given that like this chance or opportunities. After the productions, how long we will give that. So these are the different kinds of agreement was done in that 1991 industrial policy or the liberalization, privatization, globalization or the new economic policy reforms. In respect of these industries, other than those included above, that automatic permission will be given subject to the same guidelines as if no foreign exchange is required for any payments. So, industry license policy is liberalized. Foreign investment also we give the liberalized, as well as foreign technology agreements. Similarly, we have expanded our public sectors, or we may say that we contracted our public sectors, because public sector are free to choose or to make choice as per the requirement of the country's growth of an economy. Because times the economy changes, the policy changes. So that is that one economics, the choice of science. That is why the public sector also changes, the investors changes. It means portfolio of the public sector investment will be reviewed with view to a focus of the public sector on strategic basis. What the country requires and what are the basic industries we need for the growth of an economy, for the development of an economy. Whether the industry should be reserved for the public sectors or it should be open for the private sectors. These are the private sector which is the selective industries. So public sector will also allow the entries in areas of that all the cases except that few industries which are reserved for the public sectors. As a result of public enterprise which are chronically sick, continuously they are suffering the loss. They are not producing the maximum outputs. They are only giving the employments. The industry is suffering the loss, chronically loss, which are unlikely to be turned around wheel for the formulation of revival or rehabilitation schemes be referred to the Board of Industrial and Financial Reconstructions. Board of Industrial and Financial Reconstruction, BIFR. BIFR. Board of Industrial Finance Reconstructions. Board of Industrial and Financial Reconstruction. It means if the industries are chronically sick, they are not producing that output in such a way that they can get that profits, which way that continuously loss and loss, it is not possible to for the long run to run that industries. That cases, that industries will be referred to the Board of Industrial and Financial Reconstructions. Then that industry will take the decisions what the industry is to be done. So in order to raise the resources and encourage wide public participation, a part of the government shareholding in the public sector would be for mutual funds, financial institutions, general public and workers. So these are the importance of the public sectors. Besides this, there is the MRTP, Monopoly Restricted Trade Practice Act, we have already discussed. As well as there is that foreign trade policy, that is the external sectors and public reforms, and foreign capital and policy reforms, choice of ownership structures, choice of market, choice of the products, and there are the some economic reforms, that is the financial reforms, gross national product, how much it increased, foreign direct investments, that was said, and financial sectors about that RBI and the different kinds of financial institutions. Besides this, government changes the different policies that you have already known in that macroeconomics, cash reserve ratio, statutory liquidity ratio, or that bank rate, or the repo rates. These are the some reforms which were made in that 1991 industrial policy, and these reforms are also to be continued till to date. These are the certain changes what we have already known, that is that new industrial policy resolution 1991. Dear students, you will see that that new topic it is added after this new economic policies, that is an appraisal of LPG policies economic reforms. An appraisal of LPG policies in economic reforms. It means what are the reforms we have done. So after these reforms, we have to analyze how much we have gathered or how much we have loosened. That is, we have to analyze the merits or the advantages or demerits or the limitations or the shortcomings or the drawbacks. It means if any changes occurred by changing this implementation of changes, no doubt there may be some advantages, merits, or there may be that demerits. So we will give your arguments, we will give some arguments. What is that favorable of changes or that economic reforms? Kyunki that economic reforms created that mixed reactions in different levels. That mixed reaction is that either positive or negatives. So first of all, we will discuss the merits of that LPG policies, or that is that argument in favor of economic policies. So always we are saying that new economic policy, whenever we implemented in the year of 1991, there is that some economic changes, there is the growth of economy. So increase in the rate of economic growth, no doubt. First point we may write that increasing the rate of economic growth. Rate of economic growth. इसे खाली बोलने में नहीं होगा, हमको काम करके दिखाना होगा, और प्रैक्टिकली वी नीड दैट सम मेजरमेंट्स. इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ indicates the country's GDP, country's national income, country's per capita incomes. So the growth of GDP was in 1990-91 only 5.6% rate of growth of GDP. So before we implement 1991 new economic policies, the growth GDP was 5.6%. That is, in this case, we can measure from 1981 to 1990-91. So when we will compare with that after that new economic policy, means after the 1991, during that 2018 and 19, growth rate of GDP is estimated as 7.2%. (2018 and 19). But in 2017 and 18, it was less 6.7%. It means we may say that by implementing the new economic policies, the growth rate is increasing, or growth rate is increased. It means during this reform periods, during this new economic policies, the growth of agriculture and industrial sectors and services sectors, it means we can say that the contributions towards the national income from different sector, that also changes. That is, in some book has written also vibrant economy. Vibrant economy. Second point, we may say that vibrant economy. It means during the reform periods, if we will calculate the statistical data, contributions towards the national income from agriculture sectors, which is reduced, industry sector which is increased, and service sectors which is also increased. It means the growth of agriculture sector has declined, industrial sector had reported the fluctuations, changes हुआ है, whereas growth of services sector has been gone up. This indicates that the growth is mainly driven in the growth of in the services sectors. So that is why if we will compare with the developed countries, their contributions toward the national income is maximum from services sectors. That is possible in our India by the implementation of new economic policies. So that is that changes, which is GDP increases up to that 8%. That is to be called that vibrant of economy by contributions from the different sectors, industrial sectors and services sectors. It means we can say that there the industrial production increases. So we may say that due to the changes of our technology, due to that implementation of LPG, liberalizations, privatization, globalizations, there is that stimulant to industrial production. You may do it at different points. Third part you may write stimulant to industrial productions. to remove, to become that, remember in your mind, you may take in the different points. It means during the 2012 and 13, there has been a setback in the growth of or growth rates of different sectors. Agriculture recorded high growth rate during that 2013 and 14, but witnessed the negative growth rate in the subsequent year. Gradually it should be decreased. सब चीज का एक मैक्सिमम होते हैं, सैचुरेशन होते हैं, आफ्टर द सैचुरेशन इट कम्स डाउन. But if we will compare the services sectors witness the high even growth rate, that is that 10.3%, 10.3% in that improvement or rate of growth increased in the year of 2014-15 in services sectors. But the industrial sectors witnessed the steep decline during the 12-13, but they began to show a positive growth thereafter. It means industrial sector also fluctuates. I have already said industrial sector also fluctuates. That should be increase and decrease, up and down. So similarly, what are the changes we have done? Remember, first point I was written changes. क्या change किया है? So that is that first GDP हो गया. Second, foreign investments. I have already said foreign investment case में 50%, 51%, 74% and 100% in that some area cases, special cases. So the opening of the economy has led to the rapid increase in the foreign direct investments. When India got her freedom, there was no capital to establish the industries. You will be surprised, only 7 industries were there at that time when India got her freedoms of the large scale industry, 3 to 7 industries. But now it is uncountable, we could not say right now. Although there is some statistical data. So it is possible by this implementation of new economic policies, that is foreign direct investments or FDI. So the foreign direct investment और FII, एक वर्ड में बोला था आपको, भूला नहीं, ध्यान रखिए. FII मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट, फॉरेन इंस्टीट्यूशनल इन्वेस्टर्स. The FDI and foreign institutional investments, remember it's FDI and FII, foreign direct investment and foreign investment institutions. FDI, foreign direct investments, foreign direct investment, FII, foreign institutional investors. FDI and FII, foreign institutional investors. They came forward to establish the different industries or to invest their capital as well as their new technology, information technology, IT sectors, information technologies. As a result of, we are capable to increase our products. You will be surprised what $1 million we are capable to produce by these two, foreign direct investments and foreign institutional investments. That is increased from $100 million, $100 million USA dollar, 100 USA million dollar, that is in 1991, 320 million, billion in USA dollar. Remember it. It means we reached to increase our product $100 billion to $314 billion in 2014 and 15. These are the different kinds of statistical data. $100 million to 324 billion USA dollar we are capable to produce in the productions till to date. Beside this, that is in latest policies, make in India. Try to know the difference, make in India and made in India. There are some students, they have made also project. Make in India and made in India. But with launching that make in India in the year of 2014, September 2014 September, and foreign direct investment policy was further liberalized to invest increasingly or rapidly, which is increased to that 48%. That is that inflow or that foreigners investment, or we may say that foreign capital entered to our country for the production of the goods and services or for the establishment of industries in our countries, either to sell these goods in our country or in the different countries through that export systems. So that is called that inflow of foreign investments. So when we establish that more and more industries, we get that more and more capital from that foreign countries. So naturally, we can able to earn that more and more products. These products are not wholly consumed, not by one country, that is India. So what are the surplus product that was exported? Dear students, you know, when the goods will be exported to any other countries, it means we are able to earn that more and more foreign exchange. So as a result of, we are capable to increase our foreign exchange reserves. So that is the next point, we may say third or fourth point, rise in foreign exchange reserves. Rise in foreign exchange reserves. It means we are capable to increase our foreign currencies in our countries. It means whenever our production increases, so no doubt that export increase. Whenever the export increases, we got that more and more foreign currencies. That foreign currency was $6 billion in that USA, $6 billion in USA dollars in the year of 1991, and it reaches $320 billion in the year of, that is 2014 and 15. It means that $6 billion too. We reached $6 billion to 320. That is $6 billion was 1991 or $320 billion in the year of 2014 and 15. That indicates, it means we are capable to reserve that more and more foreign currencies by that foreign direct investment or that FII, foreign institutional investors, or by that launching that Make in India in the year of 2014 in the month of September. So India is the one of the largest foreign exchange reserves holders in the world. India is that one of the foreign exchange reserves holders in the world. Similarly, that may be right in that rise in foreign exchange reserves and rise in exports. Export also increases. Besides this, during this 1940 to 1990, whenever we studied, there is the price rise, there is the inflation, there is more and more demand of the goods, lack of supply of the goods. So that was the situations. The interest rate is to be going up to the 17%. You will surprise. In 1991, the inflation which was picked up 17%, and now it is less than 5% because you are getting the loan at least 7%. So these are to be possibles. That means that inflation rate reduced due to that increasing of the supply of goods, due to that increasing of the employments. So we may say that new economy policy also helps to control that inflations. 5 points you may write that: control inflations, control inflation. Control inflation. It means it 17% to it reduces that 5.6. That was in 1990-91 to we may give that 2015 and 16. Okay. So rise in price rise, also rise in price, or that inflations, or we may say that price rise is to be reduced. Similarly, there is that liberalizations, there is the privatizations, and there is that globalizations. So when there is that industrial policy introduced in the 1951 and compare with the 1991 industrial policy resolutions. In 1991 industrial policy, we give the opportunity to that more and more to the private sectors. So private sector entrepreneurs, they get the opportunity to establish the different type of industries. As a result of, we are capable to increase our the large number of industry in the private sectors. So that may be one point: increase in the role of private sectors, increase in the role of private sector. It means more and more industries are established by the private entrepreneurs or the private industrialists. So they get the opportunities and they started their productions. Our production is increasing. So when these private sector come forwards, they enter to the products, they enter to the market and started their products. So which was that new economic policy, that budgetary policy, whenever we are discussing that the fiscal deficit and primary deficits. So as a result of, we can capable to control our fiscal deficits. Next point you may write: fiscal deficit. Check in that fiscal deficit. 7 points. Check in fiscal deficit. I will not explain the word fiscal deficit in our budget. It means total expenditure more than that of the total revenue. It means what are the expenditure incurred by the governments, that much revenue is not earned by the governments. So if we are capable to increase our productivities and similarly expenditure will be increased, it means it depends on our GDP, gross domestic products. It has been increased that 7.5 and 8.5 like this, and that helps to increase the productivity, that helps to increase our productivity. Standard by measurement, the deficit should be reduced. That is that one kinds of advantages or the merits. Besides this, that consumers, they got that opportunities, they are the sovereign powers, they have to take their decisions, because JB says supply creates the demands. It means those entrepreneurs who will produce the products, what goods they have to produce, that much goods we have to consume, the consumers. But that policy changes, that now the demand create the supply, the consumers what shape, what size, which way the goods demand, that types of goods are to be produced by the producers. So that we can say that consumer sovereignty has that expanded over the time. That is why producers are widely responding to the consumer's choice and to their performance. It means what the consumers desires, what is the consumers requirements, accordingly the goods are to be produced by the entrepreneurs. Recognition of India's and emerging that economic powers. It means we have already improved our power sectors developments, that we will analyze in that unit 2. Although that power sector is deleted, but we can improve our power sector also. Similarly, we can shift from monopoly market to that competitive markets, because monopoly restricted trade practice act, monopoly in microeconomics we already discussed. It means launching that LPG policy has caused a significant shift in the structures of the Indian markets. I want to that only merits or the advantages. Next period we will discuss that some demerits of that new economic policies or that LPG policies or the 1991 new industrial policies. Thanks to all of you.